Have you ever noticed how your favorite app, the one that used to be lightning fast, starts to feel kind of slow and clunky over time? Well, it happens all the time. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret practices that make the difference between software that dies a slow death and software that's truly built to last. Yeah, it's a feeling we've all had, right? Your go-to app starts to lag, updates seem to cause more problems than they fix, and it's just not as snappy as you remember. You're not imagining it. This is a real thing called software rot. But what's actually causing it to happen?
Well, the answer isn't about the flashy new features you see on the outside. It's all about what's happening deep down, inside the code itself. The secret is a serious commitment to what we call sustainable development, which is really just a fancy way of saying you're focused on keeping the software healthy and clean on the inside, not just piling on more stuff.
Think of software like a really complex machine. If you just keep adding new gadgets and pipes to it without ever stopping to tune the engine or clean the parts, what's going to happen? Eventually, the whole thing just grinds to a halt. And without that constant attention, code decays. It just gets more complicated and fragile as it grows.
So, how do the best development teams fight back against this decay? Well, the very first practice is maybe the simplest: constant tidying. It's just like keeping your room clean. You don't wait for a giant mess to pile up, you just clean as you go. In the tech world, this is called refactoring. And here's the key part to get. It's all about improving the internal structure without changing how it behaves on the outside. So for you, the user, the app looks and feels exactly the same, but behind the scenes, the code just got a whole lot cleaner, simpler, and way easier for developers to work with. And trust me, this is not just about being neat for the sake of it. This kind of preventative maintenance has huge payoffs. It makes the code way easier for the whole team to read and understand. It makes it easier to maintain, which means fixing bugs or adding new features down the line is way faster and safer. Ultimately, it stops that software rot dead in its tracks and actually helps the team ship new stuff to you more quickly in the long run. Okay, so if refactoring is all about keeping the workspace clean, our second practice is kind of like having a buddy system to make sure you're always doing your best work. You know the saying, 2 heads are better than 1?
This is called pair programming, and it's a deceptively simple but incredibly powerful idea. You have 2 developers working together at the same time on the same problem at one single computer. One person is the driver. They're the one actually typing the code. And the other is the navigator, who's watching, reviewing, and thinking about the bigger picture.
And this is where the magic of real-time collaboration really shines. You're getting an instant peer review, catching tiny mistakes the moment they happen. Knowledge gets passed back and forth constantly, which totally breaks down those knowledge silos, where only one person knows how a critical part of the app works. And the result? Just cleaner, way higher quality code.
All right, our third practice is a really crucial one, and you can think of it like a tech credit card. Because, just like in your own finances, sometimes you got to take on a little debt to get something important done fast.
This concept is called technical debt. It's basically the future cost of rework you're signing up for when you choose a quick and dirty solution now instead of taking the time to do the better, cleaner approach. It's a shortcut. And just like swiping a credit card, it feels super convenient in the moment, but you know deep down you're going to have to pay it back later, and usually with interest.
But here's the thing. Not all debt is the same. The best teams know the difference between intentional debt and unmanaged debt. Intentional debt is a strategic choice. Like, okay, we're going to take this shortcut to hit a critical deadline, but we have a plan to come back and fix it next month. Unmanaged debt, on the other hand, is just plain neglect. It's the mess that's allowed to fester, and it eventually slows everything down and causes all sorts of problems.
And this is exactly why the best teams are constantly talking about and paying down their technical debt. They don't let it get swept under the rug because, as the saying goes, hidden debt eventually becomes crippling. It really is the silent killer of so many good software products. So, we have these 3 big practices: constant tidying, working together, and managing your debt. Let's pull it all together and see what the real payoff looks like.
So it all starts with that clean foundation, right? Constant tidying through refactoring. Make sure the code itself is healthy, organized, and just easy to work with. Then, that clean foundation gets reinforced by collaboration. Pair programming is like a real-time quality control system, making sure that any new code that gets added is just as good as the old stuff. This isn't just a gimmick, it's a cultural choice to focus on quality.
And this whole system is protected by that discipline of actively managing your technical debt.
It makes sure that any shortcuts are only temporary and that they get paid back before they can cause any real, long-term damage.
So what's the result of all this? You get a truly high-quality environment. You get disciplined development where everyone cares about the standards. The workflow is super efficient, and for the company and for us, the users, it means a huge advantage. You get faster, more reliable software. You get a product that is actually built to last.
So the single most important thing to take away from all this is building great software is about so much more than just bolting on new features. It's built on a foundation of disciplined, often invisible work that's all about keeping the code itself healthy. So next time you update your favorite app, just think about it for a second. Is this software being built to last? Or is it slowly accumulating a hidden debt that sooner or later you're going to have to pay for?